Welcome back, friends. Welcome back to the homestead. Actually, I'm in the office at the moment. I'm going to do a quick video following up my previous passive solar greenhouse video. There are a few questions that came up which I just think it would be easier to answer by doing a video. Might not be a quick video, but a video nevertheless. The first question that's been asked a few times actually is, what program am I using to do the 3D designing? Now, this is called Blender, and Blender is an open source 3D computer graphics software tool, or 3D creation suite, and it's used for modeling, rigging, animation, simulation, rendering, animated films, visual effects, art, and 3D printed models. It's open source, like I said, so it's free. You can obviously contribute to a developer's fund, but it's a fantastic piece of kit, and I took the time to put all this together in Blender because I felt it would make for a much better end result, because I could simulate how it looks in our garden and use the tools within Blender to help me do that. For instance, I'm not going to do a tutorial on Blender here, but just for instance, you can put the sun up in the sky and you can change the way that it shines so you can see where the shadows fall, and things like that for different times of the year. So here we are in our, I want to say back garden, but this is our kind of newer growing area, certainly where the greenhouses are anyway. So let's turn those bits off we don't need to see, and that. So yeah, it's made it a lot easier. I think you can see you can get a much better idea of what's going on and what might happen. It's certainly been really useful throughout this process, because this is the result of many iterations and many changes. So first question, well, the second question really, other than the fact that it's made in Blender, was why did I choose OSB for the sidings rather than plywood, I think was the question. So you kind of think plywood is a stronger and a better option, but actually OSB has better waterproof and moisture resistant properties, and that's pretty important in an outdoor setting and in the greenhouse. Now, whilst here you can see the natural OSB, which is already somewhat moisture resistant, my intention is to coat every piece in waterproof with a waterproofing agent, particularly the sides where we cut, and then to paint the final thing. So it won't stay this, as nice as it is, it won't stay this kind of wood effect, which gives it lots of waterproofing, and it should give it the chance to last many years. On top of that, I plan to use along the base of the greenhouse, I tend to use some sacrificial pieces of wood which can easily be replaced, almost like a sacrificial skirting, I think would be the correct phrase, because it won't be built on traditional footings. As I explained, the poles will be set into the ground in holes, and then the poles will be moisture proofed using the charring effect, the Shausugiban Japanese system for waterproofing. And so it still has the rest on the floor, and it'd be better that it rests on, I will treat it with some kind of preservation. So and then if any soil is going to touch, say like inside where we got the beds along here, we'll actually probably use some kind of plastic sheet. Not so important on this side where the thermal mass is, but so yeah, that's why we're using OSB, and it's cheaper as well. So it's a double plus really. Alec asked about using propylene glycol instead of for the thermal mass, using water with an anti-freezing agent called propylene glycol. I checked it out, Alex. Even though it's food grade, it's highly restricted here in Europe, and it's very expensive. It was for an IBC tote. It was about nearly €3,000. Just for a few litres, it's something like €80 or something, 5 litres. So, and the mix blend needs to be about 60-40, so it's quite expensive, prohibitively so, I would say. So yeah, that's out of the question really. So back to the wool. Next question was over on the Facebook from Gustav, was can I grow lemons? It's designed as a 3-season greenhouse. I'm not trying to grow stuff in here 4 seasons long, because the problem will be the light at the end of the day. There won't be enough light. We don't know, a lot of it's theoretical, based on existing knowledge, but we don't know in our context. Reality is, how much heat will this retain? How effective will it be? And then what can we do to make it more effective if need be? So a little bit of experimentation in the first sort of 12 months or 2 years, and we'll look at those results. But I have no plans to grow citrus in here. It's not that big. Would I love to have another one? Yeah, absolutely. And grow some figs and some citrus, lemons and limes, all crazy stuff here in Latvia. But that's for another day. This is really focused on growing food for us to eat and to preserve, to sustain us through the winter, becoming more self-sufficient. What else was there? Thomas asked about insulation in the walls. Yes, hopefully you've seen the previous video. That was asked on Facebook, to be fair. So yeah, it's insulation. It's this green stuff. Comes in the block panels, and we'll be applying that all around in the walls, back walls, and in the roof as well, up there. Let's see if I can move this up there. You can see it all on the back north wall here. And yeah, ventilation. So we've got this single ventilation fan at the moment. We'll have when I've got it. That will be controlled by a clever box. There will be a clever box on the wall. If I can take you inside, there'll be a control box up there, some batteries down here. We've got our solar panel unit here, not quite facing south at the moment, but it will do. So yeah, wires will come underground in here, and then there'll be a charge controller and my ESP32 microcontrollers with temperature sensors and all that kind of stuff, all controlled in this box here, and that will control the actuators. I've actually got one of the actuators now. I'll show you it over the top of this video. So I've been playing about with it. It looks really cool. This is the 20 centimeter one, which I think will be enough. I don't know if here is the exact right position. It may be in the middle, maybe coming downwards rather than going outwards like that. For the window ventilation. Okay, what was the next question? Joe asked about a cold sump. Hadn't given it a lot of thought. I did see a video on it and I thought, well, that's kind of a good idea, but it was a lot of work to be able to dig down. They dug down really far for a really deep sump, and they had built more of a 4-season greenhouse, so it's probably more appropriate. As you can see, there's some element of fact the walkway is deeper than the beds, and I may make that deeper. But again, with it being only 3-season and not 4-season, it probably isn't necessary. But I'll probably stick a temperature sensor down here and modify and note the temperature in this specific area to see if cold air does particularly sump down, perhaps compared to the beds. But yeah, so no real plans for cold sump yet, but that is the sort of thing that you could add on later. Same with like geothermal cooling, we could add on later as well. So I think that was all the questions. Yeah, I hope that cleared those up. I don't think there was anything else I particularly wanted to add. Just looking forward to getting going, Rouse. Still got snow outside on the ground, March the 16th. But things are warming up and it's going, I think. Mud season is coming. So hopefully I can get out. We can start tearing down the old one, making way for the new one and doing the kind of groundworks and then get on. I've ordered all the timber that's coming in the next week or so. So yeah, hopefully the next video will be less theoretical and more practical, but let's see. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all your likes and subscriptions. Keep the comments coming, keep the questions coming, keep me on my toes. If I've forgotten something, then let me know and point it out to me and I'll address it by all means. And I look forward to seeing you in another video very soon. So I'll say bye for now.